to the October edition of Retail World Report. We're going to start up in Padova in Italy. Retailing has been around for centuries. One of the first markets in Europe was actually in this town. In fact, this column behind me was part of the original structure. It was built in the 9th century. It was built purely to be a fruit market. And of course, fruit is still being sold in this market. So since the 9th century, people have been trading in this square. But not only are we going to look at the history of retailing, we want to look at the modern retailing that's taking place. We're going to go and visit one of the top trade shows in Italy. Also, we're going to look at pricing strategies, what the newspapers say, ideas from the UK, Canada and other parts of the world. So welcome to the October edition of Retail World Report. Padova's an interesting city to walk around because you get the old and the new. In fact, you get the ultra new and the ultra old. Look at all these varieties of traditional apples that are being sold in the marketplace. And yet at the same time, we've got these futuristic little ornaments for selling the more traditional plants. And how about this? What do you think these are selling? This is a pet shop, but it's designed as a fashion shop. So what you're seeing is a fashion statement for pets. And to make things really different, look at the statement outside where they've got this artificial large rose to explain that this is a pet shop. So some different thinking is there. And when it comes to ladies' fashion, how about using some equipment from the men's tool shed to display women's fashion? And it highlights how we can use props from different industries to use to get the appeal across to the customer. And of course the florists really make the use of the sidewalk or the pavement. They put the theatre right in front of passing customers. But next door you've got this golden thread on a black drop and these step-by-step golden coils at the Louis Vuitton, but very simple merchandising in the shop window. And then we get the old Fiat car cut in half and used as the entrance for a delicatessen. And those new colours, what are going to be the latest fashion colours? Well, the ladies' fashion stores are showing us that the new colours are those lavender purples. Then there's the kiddies' toy shops and the kiddies' fashion shops. Wire netting fence, coloured cups, just to create this barrier between the shop window and the rest of the store. And there's that pet stop again. Look at that pet shop window and the drapes and the fashion statement that are being used. The farmers' markets are back to the traditional, but the ultra-modern is still there. They're using these electrical carts, which I've never seen before, so they can just wheel these carts in and wheel them back out. And we may be on the oldest farmers' market that's centuries old, but they've got pop-up electricals. But the traditional produce is still there, still creating the impact. But those carts are really something different, a great idea in pop-up retailing that we could adopt in any retail situation. So that's my walk around Padua. Hope I've given you some ideas to think about in your own store. One of the big debates in the world is transition towns. Transition towns about how do we preserve the heritage of the town and how do we create an interest and create some income as a result of it. Well, you've got to look at the heritage of the area and how you could bring that into the marketplace and make it a profitable venture. So here we are in Italy and it's wine barrels that are being made. Now the important thing as far as the retailer is concerned is what are the local skills that can be brought in and how can that be turned into a profitable venture. But everybody's got to get involved. It's about the people, it's about the team. And so often you come across areas that they created the heritage, but people haven't bought into it. Your team need to buy into the changes. So they need to buy into the heritage and everybody's got to be an actor as far as the theatre is concerned. You can only make it work to the lowest standard of the lowest performer. What have we got here? We've got retailers that are playing the game. Everybody's dressed up to look like they're from medieval Europe. So whatever you do, make sure the team buy in. It's important that you brainstorm it with the team first of all, so they know what it's all about. Then once they brainstorm it, they all agree how they're going to play their part of being actors as far as the retail city is concerned. So welcome to medieval Italy. I often talk about creating an experience in a retail environment. Well, let's look at Marsiglia, which is a village in northern Italy next to Padova. They create a farmers market that's held on a regular basis, but then in the autumn or fall they go and create a medieval festival. This is a great way of showing how the experience can be brought in for the consumer. Now, the important thing to remember is if you're going to create this experience, you've got to go the whole way. That means that the whole team need to buy in. As you can see from these pictures, the whole village bought into this experience. Now, they're actually showing you medieval way of life, and they're selling products in a medieval way. But think about how you develop Christmas, Halloween, any festival where an experience is involved. The whole team must get involved, and they must believe in what you're creating. These guys created a real authentic situation. It brought the crowds in from long distances. And I think this is an important issue. Do it right, prepare it well, plan it well, get everybody to buy into the festival or the experience. They've managed to do this in Italy. I'm sure you can do the same in your business.
Creating an event like this needs a committee. So you need to get a group of people together that are like-minded and want to make a difference. At the end of the day, from our own experiences, one person has to make the final decision. So this does need the community and a group of people to get involved. But make sure you have one person that can finally put it together. You need to be accountable. Events like this need to be measurable, and therefore people need to be accountable. So hope you've enjoyed this medieval market in Italy.
This month's trade show is in Italy, and I'm in Padova, which is not too far from Venice. I'm at Flormart, which is one of the largest horticultural shows in Europe. It's a show where there are plenty of plant exhibitors. Now, what I really want to show you is how they add value. You may not be in the plant industry, but look at the way this industry is adding value to a core product. It may give you some ideas. So let's take a walk around this trade show.
Well, let's take a walk around the show and look at some of the highlights. And the irony is I'm going to start with Berger & Ball, which is a UK company. Why did I look at this store? It's because they're looking at personality marketing. And something we need to learn from in retailing is the importance now of credibility through personality marketing. You may say, well, what's personality marketing is all about? Well, it's about this guy. It's about, in fact, a person who's the next door neighbour to the managing director of this company, who happens to be a fanatic on growing fruit and veg. So they've used him as a character in their packaging. It gives the credibility that's needed in the marketplace from that point of view. So the Grow Your Own movement is using these characters through the Berger & Ball marketing strategy. Now, of course, you go to a show, you're going to look at the different retailing ideas. This is a nice idea of putting together very effective horizontal and vertical marketing. So these stands, we see a lot of them around the world, but this is how they should be displayed professionally. And I love the way this horizontal merchandising has been used, where they've actually used the skirt area with the Enjoy Autumn theme. So not do we get the normal boring skirt that you see in many horizontal displays, but they put some theatre there that can be changed from season to season. And look how effective this block merchandising has been put together. And also Enjoy the Autumn. They're bringing in that seasonal theme with very simple touches that can be used by any retailer just to celebrate the seasons. Colour blocking is important, and the Italians are exceptionally good at colour blocking. They know how to use colour. And one thing you'll always come across in Italy is that the very effective styles of colour that are being used. Retailing these days is about value and it's about premium. And I love the way they put this together using a very simple value container and value product, but it's created that extra value for the consumer.
And some of the displays are a bit more effective, a bit more different than you normally see. These half circle, half orb displays really show products off effectively. And when it comes to horizontal and vertical merchandising, colour can be used either way, even with difficult products. These are these large containers being used to show how we can display colour in a horizontal way. But it's the way they put the whole displays together in Italy that really catch the eye. They're artists when it comes to putting the materials together. Now, pop-up retailing is very much in vogue at present. And it was nice to see Master Tent producing these themes that pop-up retail canvas can be used for. They're actually putting art on the canvas now, and I'm sure in the future we're going to see pop-up retailers doing a lot more adventurous things now that people like Master Tents are putting art on the canvas. Now, talking about canvas, how about taking a simple product like a grass and then displaying it as a picture? One thing the Italians are good at is taking simple things and making them a lot more elaborate. This caught a lot of people's eyes. So when you go around to shows, look at some of the entrepreneurial stuff. Look at some of the retailers. Look at the green energy. Look at the way they can put products together, how they can display ideas just to catch the eye for the consumer. It's all about simplicity. But this is a show that will really give you some fresh ideas. One of the challenges many retailers have got as we get out of the financial crisis is how do we reconstruct our pricing strategies? Well, the fast food industry is probably a good example to look at. During the last few years, they've relied on a value product. In America, it's been the $4.99 hamburger, and they've been able to go above that $5 price point. But the trouble is, their profits have been squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. But they've needed the traffic to drive that traffic in with that $4.99 hamburger. What are they doing now? They've created two products. They've created a value product strategy, and they've created a premium product strategy. So, for example, you can still get the $4.99 hamburger, the value product, but at the same time, they created a new product, the premium product. So in Canada, you can get an $8.99 hamburger. You can get spare ribs in America that are coming out at $6, $7. So what they're doing is they're creating a new product that's got a higher gross profit. Now this is creating two things. One is they're maintaining and keeping their happy customer from the $4.99 price point, price barrier product range. They're also attracting new customers and getting existing customers to spend more money on the premium range. So as they move on to the new economy, they've got these two products, the value range product and the premium range product. So it's worth looking at your product ranging. Yes, you need the value ranges, but can you create new products within the premium range? So this value premium, we're going to see a lot more of it in pricing strategies as we look at different types of retailing. So you need to stand back and look at your pricing strategy. You've still got to work with your price barriers and your price points, but you need that value range that is at that key point area, and then the premium range is going to grow your gross profit. So take a look at your pricing.
In retailing, there are what's called trends and there are what's called fads. Trends last 3, 4, 5 years. A fad is something that will last 12 months to 18 months. And probably one of the best examples of how you can profit from a fad is in the UK. These things, meerkats, are very much a fad in the UK over the last 12 months. The result is it's one of the most highest returns per square metre in leisure style businesses, and it's worth looking at how you can take a fad and extend its life. It started with a TV commercial and this little animal from South Africa, and people started buying these creatures. What I want to show you is how this business has extended the life of a fad.
One thing they've done to extend the life is to create seasonality. So now we have the meerkat dressed as Father Christmas. So they've brought in a Christmas range. So they've looked at the seasons and looked at how they could take the fad and adapt it to the season, hence extending the life even further. But there are other tricks as well. You can look at celebrities as a means of extending a fad. This has been done very cleverly with this business. They've taken some of the UK celebrities and icons and made them look like meerkats. As a result, you get a James Bond meerkat. So again, you're seeing this fad being extended in its life. One of the best ways of extending the life is to look at the emotional issues in a country. So now we've got our meerkat dressed up like he's in Afghanistan. So they've looked at what's happening globally and as far as the nation's concerned and brought this into the situation that's at home. They've linked it into the charity. So the aim is to generate £50,000 to help support the heroes from Afghanistan. So you can see how a fad can be extended. So all credit to this little meerkat and this business for extending the life of not only helping the society, but helping the meerkat stay as an icon in the British market. We're at Glee in the UK. Glee is one of the major lifestyle trade shows in this part of the world, and it's held every 12 months. At this show, there's a lovely concept being used called Off the Shelf, which was developed by Gardenworks. What they've done is looked at standard merchandising product and shown how you can create the theatre off the shelf. So we're going to show you 4 different models. And it's to get you to think about how you can develop products in your retail category and put them in a display concept. Now the first one we want to look at is garden tools. Mostly garden tools are left on the shelf on a merchandising rack, and they're never really given that sexual desire display, that theatre display to make them work. Well, John and Kevin from Gardenworks have really put some theatre together. So imagine this type of theatre being put forward, then the merchandising behind it. So off the shelf is a lovely idea that can be developed in your business. Watering cans are another product that normally are left on the shelf. You think about water and cascading water when you think about watering cans. So this time we've got the cascading waterfall using cans. Again, it's off the shelf and creating that theatre that's going to stop the customer and make them go wow before they see the merchandising of the product. I don't know about you, but one of the most difficult things to display and merchandise are bag products. They tend to get cluttered and dusty. How about creating some theatre with them? So what have Gardenworks done here? They've created some chairs and table, and look what they've done with the lamp. They've created a lamp using containers. So you can even take a product like this and create some theatre to make the consumer really think about the product in some depth. Okay, let's take Wellington boots. Look what they've done with Wellington boots. We've got the pyramidal display, the mannequin over the top, the circular displays, kept to 2 simple colours and created that theatre. So again, off the shelf shows the theatre that can be used just to give that point of difference. So I hope you've enjoyed these ideas from me. One of the challenges for many retailers is signage systems. Well, I'm with Nigel Spellman from Green Magic in the UK. He's the signage expert. Now, tell me a bit about this type of signage, Nigel. What's so special about it?
Right, well there's an alternative now to the laminated print, which people have used for outdoor systems in the past. And that is to print it onto something waterproof, which is UV resistant and doesn't need any further processing other than it once it's printed.
So what would be the life of something like this?
This would be 6 months to a year outdoors.
Okay, so I could use it indoors or outdoors?
Indoors you could use for long term, but for seasonal promotion outside, absolutely great.
Now, wait a minute, it's a bit small. Can we make this any larger?
We can make it a bit larger, certainly. Shall I show you?
Yeah, do show me how to. Well, okay, Nigel, we've got this machine here, this Epson machine, and we've taken this picture really into this size. Tell me a bit more.
Right, well, if you want your point of sale to be seen at some distance, you need a bigger size. This printer here acts just like any ordinary computer printer, except it's bigger. You link it up to your laptop or your network, and you print it out to this size. You make big posters, banners, all sorts of different options.
Now, come on, most of our viewers are small retailers. This looks expensive.
Well, this is the biggest machine. There is a half-size one. This one is at the show at £2,500, about $4,000. There is a half-size one at a lower price point. It is affordable, and it gives the retailer control. They can actually print their own point of sale instead of outsourcing.
So what you're now saying is I'll do my own branding in-house rather than going to a printer.
Absolutely, and you want to change your price that morning, you've got a load of stock in, you want to shift it, you print a new poster, and you don't just print it small, you can print it large.
Now, you've got some other good ideas to show me, haven't you?
Well, I have, yes.
Okay, let's have a look at the other side of this now. I'm sorry, Nigel, I've just written that. I'll put it back for you. What's all it's about? Anyway?
Yeah, no problem at all, because this is easy stick media. This is printed on the printer. You just peel off the backing, and you peel it off and stick it on.
And what type of services?
This is a material called dye bond, but you can stick it onto virtually any material. This is a relatively low-tack adhesive, so it's removable. We also have an adhesive vinyl, which is a much more durable high-tack adhesive.
So the retailer again can do this in-house?
With this printer, they can print on this, they can also print on glossy photo paper, a whole range of things really. It's a very versatile system.
Of course, most retailers use this plastic type of frame, but you've got some other types of frames, haven't
I
you?
have got some alternatives to show you. For example, there is this magnetic frame. It's actually clear at the back, so you can stick it onto the glass and use it double-sided. A very neat frame in different sizes. This is an illuminated frame, an LED light box. LED is very economical to run and a long life light tube available in a number of sizes like all of the frames. And then we have some different styles of frames. This is called a Pixquick, a little hinge door. Just pop in your print and away you go. And there's another frame, a flat frame, called a Linford.
This gives you a nice curve, gives you a nice different modern look as far as
It does. It's very contemporary. It's not a cheap solution like the plastic frame for widespread use in the plant area, but for a more refined look. For example, in a coffee shop or a situation like that, it's a very nice frame.
And you've got some more ideas to show us as
We
well.
have to, yes.
Of course, many retailers are familiar with this acrylic holder, but you've taken this to the next level, haven't you?
We certainly have. Something a little more stylish. It's still an acrylic holder, but it has a clip aluminium base which transforms it into a stylish range of menu holders, great on furniture, coffee shops, lots of indoor situations where that extra style really counts.
Now, I'm also a fan of the Blackboard.
Indeed.
And you've taken the Blackboard to another level as well.
Yeah.
So just talk to us about the Blackboard.
Well, this is a new writing surface which allows it to be used with chalk or with these waterproof pens. Actually, there's two types of pen. There's a waterproof pen, which doesn't clean off with a damp cloth, but you can clean it off with a cleaning product. And there's then an indoor wet wipe pen, which you can clean off with a damp cloth. But the colours are really vivid, and the frames look nice and natural.
You've got quite a range of novelties for the retailer in this type of product range. For our listener, how do they find out about your full range? How do they contact you?
Well, we're called Green Magic Company. You can find us on the web. Our main website is www.sign-holders.co.uk.
Nigel, appreciate your comments. Thanks a lot for sharing these with us.
Thank you, John.
Main Street Farmers Market in downtown Vancouver. Looking at retailing in Vancouver, there's two strong messages that have come across. First of all, let's look at the farmers market and their concepts.
the 100 miles is a sort of golden rule as far as marketing is concerned. So British Columbia is looking at this 100-mile radius to try and bring things together. So we get the 100-mile bread and products being grown within 100 miles being sold in the marketplace. So that's one big driver that we're seeing in this part of the earth. The other thing is product placement. Our hotel outside has expensive cars parked out there, and we began to wonder why this was taking place. In fact, the car showrooms are taking their cars and parking them at the entrance. This is a classic example of product place marketing. Product place marketing is one of those growth things. You've seen Coca-Cola being displayed in Pop Idol. And what's happening is you've got to consider how you can use the products you sell and place them strategically in areas where your consumers are going. So the consumer that's going to buy the expensive car is more likely to stop at a hotel. So it's a very good example of product placement. So think about the products you sell, think about their origin, think about where they come from and how you can market them, but also think about product placement. It's key to getting a message across to keep your product in the consumer's mind. So two big lessons coming from retail scene in Vancouver. I hope you've enjoyed the October edition. I hope we've given you some ideas to help develop your business. For many of you, it's the autumn or fall season. In the southern hemisphere, it's now the spring. In November, we're going to be looking at some of the ideas from Hungary. We're going to go to Czech and look at retailing in Czech, as well as looking at developing trends that are happening around the world. So I hope you've taken some ideas from the October edition, and I look forward to seeing you again next month when we'll be in the autumn areas of Budapest, Prague and around Eastern Europe.